My name is Gijs and I'm going to learn you how to play 14 of the most famous guitar riffs of all time in an easy way. Maybe you recognize this feeling. You want to know how to play guitar, but you just started. All the riffs you want to play are riffs from great guitarists and those riffs are difficult. You keep trying and you keep watching tutorials, but none of them work for you. You consider quitting guitar because it gets boring. Well, look no further, because I can learn you how to play those riffs. Especially for beginners, I made those epic riffs easier to play. With a little practice, you can play all those 14 riffs because you only have to use one string. I will lead first on the original tempo with every riff. After, I'm going to explain you how to play the riff, and after I will repeat the whole riff in a slower tempo without effects, so it's easier to play along. If you can play the riff on full tempo, you can play along with Spotify, because I haven't messed with the key of the song. In the link from the description below, you can download the tabs of those 14 riffs. The first riff is from a classic song for bikers, Born to be Wild. The bassist is an open, thick E string, and the riff starts with the following motif: open, open, open. One more time, and after you have to play this motif on the open E string. 3, 4, and 3, 4. So it sounds like this from the start: 3, 4. One more time. Then keep your finger above the 9th fret without pressing the string. First you have to play the open E string and after the 9th fret. Then you play the open E string again and after you go to the 10th fret. So open 9, open 10. 3, 4, 3, 4. And this is what we're going to practice. 1, 2, 0, 9, 0, 10. 1, 2, 0, 9, 0, 10. Last time. Now we're going to practice the whole riff at a slower tempo. The next riff is from a song about dynamite, T.N.T. You start with an open thick E string. Then you play the 3rd fret and after the 5th fret. And this note is tied to the first beat of the 2nd bar, so it sounds like this. And after you have a change from the 3rd fret to the 5th fret and back again. So from the start. And then you play the open E string again, which is tied to the first beat of the 3rd bar. So 2, 3. Tight. Keep repeating this riff from the 3rd bar. And now we're going to play this riff on a slower tempo. Now I'm going to learn you how to play the riff every guitarist knows. Smoke on the Water. This riff starts on the 3rd fret of the thick E string. You can keep your finger on the string and slide it to the next note, but be sure that you pick the next note in time. You have to play the following frets: 3, 6 and 8. And after, the first 2 notes are the same, but the timing is different. 3, 4, 3, 6, 9, 8. 3, 6, 9, 8. So first and after, 3, 4. Now we're going to play this part in a row. Then you play the first part again. And then you play 6, 3. We'll start in the 3rd bar. 3, 4 and 6. We're going to play the riff on a slower tempo. The next riff is a classic from the Young Brothers, Highway to Hell. This riff starts with a pickup bar right after the 3rd beat. And you'll have to play the 5th fret on the E string 3 times. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. The timing of the 2nd motif is exactly the same as the 1st motif. 2, 3. And again 2, 3. And the bar after is exactly the same as the bar we've just played. So we're going to practice this from the start. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And after you play the same motif, but the timing is closer to the previous motif. So from the 2nd bar, 1, 2, 3. And after you play the 2nd fret. And after you play the 5th fret 2 times. I'll start in the 2nd bar. 1, 2, 3. And then it starts again. We're going to play the riff on a slower tempo. This riff is a real hook. People come up with different lyrics for this hook. 7 Nation Army. We don't play this riff on the E string, but on the A string. And we start on the 7th fret. Then you play this note again. And then you go to the 10th fret. Up to this point. From the 10th fret you have to walk down to the 7th, 5th and 3rd fret. So 10, 7, 5, 3. And again and after you play the 2nd fret. So 7, 7, 10, 7, 5, 3 and the 2. And this is the whole riff you can repeat the whole time. We're going to practice the riff at a slower tempo. The hit Defense couldn't appreciate at that time. Smells Like Teen Spirit. This riff is built on two rhythmic motifs, and the first motif sounds like this. And again, and. The second motif sounds like this. 1, 2, 3. From the start up to this point it sounds like this. Then you have to play exactly the same motifs as the first bar, but on a different fret. 4 for 4, then to the 9th fret, 4 for 4 and 9th fret. From the start, 1st fret to the 6th, 4th to the 9th, 1st to the 6th, to the 4th and to the 9th. Let's play the whole riff in a row. We'll head to the band that's been around for a while and can't be missed. The Rolling Stones with I Can't Get No Satisfaction. This riff starts on the 7th fret. 7th, 7th, 9th, 9th, 10. The first 7, 7, and then you get 7, 9, 10, 7, 9, 10, the 7, 9, 10 again, and again, and then you have to play slides from the 10 to the 9th, one more time. You can keep your finger pressed while sliding to the next note. And after you make a slide from the 9th to the 7th fret. The slides in a row. And again in a row. One more time. So from the start it sounds like this. And after it starts again on the 7th fret. The same fret as we've ended the riff with. Let's play the whole riff in a row. This riff is from the theme song of Rocky and is often used in the sports. Eye of the Tiger. This riff starts on the 8th fret. And after you get the following motif. So, 8, 6, 8. In the second bar you have to play this motif again. So, from the start it sounds like this. 8, 8, 6, 8. 8, 6, 8. And after you get the same motif with different notes. So, 8, 3, 4. One more time and from the start up to this point 3, 4. 1, 2. 1, 2. 2, 3, 4. The second part is almost the same as the first part. But when you have to play the motif the second time, the timing is different and it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3. So now we're going to practice the 6th bar. So the second time the first motif. 2 and. 2, and 2, and the last motif, the second part completely, 3, 4, 1, 2, and then you can repeat the whole riff. It's time to play the whole riff at a slower tempo. This riff is originally a bass riff and the most successful single of Queen. Another one bites the dust. The first 3 notes are on the beat with an open E string. Again. Last time. Then you get the following motif. And again. Last time, and. Then you have to play the 3rd fret, the open string, and the 5th fret. 3, 0, 5, 2, 3, and. From the second motif. And again. And. Now including the open E string on the beat. And. Now we're going to practice the riff at a slow tempo. The riff of the song where the title accidentally ended up with a comma. Paint it black. This riff is on the tin E string and you don't play the first beat. So you start on the 1st fret on the 2nd beat. So it sounds like this. 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1. And then you have to walk up on the beat. So first the 1st, 3rd, 4th and after the 6th fret. And then you have to walk down again. And this is what we're going to practice right now. 4, 1, 1, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 6th, 4th, 3rd. And then you play the 1st fret again, and then the open string, then the 1st fret again, and then the 3rd fret. Now we're going to play the 3rd bar. 3, 4, and again, and. And after you play the 1st fret again. And then you get a pull off. So you play the 1st fret and then you pull your finger from the string. These are twice as fast. 1 and 2, 3, 4. And 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. Now we'll start in the 3rd bar again and we play up to and including the pull off. 3, 4. And 1 and. Now we're going to practice the whole riff at a slower tempo. The next riff is from a song about George Harrison's wife, by Eric Clapton, Layla. You have to play this riff on the A string instead of the E string. And you have to play Layla in swing. So that means if we've got 8 notes, it's not 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, but it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And it has a pickup bar and we start on the end of the third beat. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 2, 3, 2, 3. And after, so we get the third and first fret after the pickup bar. And further, again, 1, 2, 3. Further, so the motif I've just added. And after you get the same motif with different notes. So 0, 1, 3, 0, 3, 5. And the second part of the riff is almost the same, but you don't have to play the third fret on the 8th note of the 4th beat. So when we start from the second part with the pickup bar up to and including this point, it sounds like this. One more time. And the last bar sounds like this. 3, 0, 3, 5. And again, 3, 0, 3, 5. And after these notes you get the pickup bar. The pickup bar at the start of the explanation is the same as this pickup bar, so you don't have to play this pickup bar again. Now we're going to practice the whole riff at a slower tempo. After Nirvana, Dave Grohl continued as frontman of the Foo Fighters and wrote us some more hits, like Learn to Fly. You have to play the first bar on the 7th fret of the E string, and the rhythm goes like this. Again and play along, and one more time, and then you have to pick the 7th fret again and you have to make a slide to the 9th fret, and one more time, and then you have to make a slide from the 9th to the 10th fret, which is faster than the previous slide. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then you play the 9th fret again. The slide with the 9th fret right after it. Now we're going to play the whole second bar and we start at the 7th fret. 3, 4. And again, and one more time, and then you have to pick the 9th fret again and you make a slide to the 7th fret, and pick it 3 times, and again. The 4th bar has exactly the same rhythm as the 3rd bar, but you don't have to make the slide at the start of the bar. So 3, 4. The first 4 bars in a row. 2, 3, 4. Now we'll head to part 2 of the riff, and this part is exactly the same as the first part, but only the tail is different. You have to play the 5th fret instead of the 7th fret again. Right after the 5th fret you have to play the 4th fret on the E string, and this one lasts a whole bar. So now we're going to play the last two bars of this part. And one more time. And 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to practice the whole riff at a slower tempo. Classic of Michael Jackson with famous covers, like the cover of Alien Ant Farm, Smooth Criminal. The riff is fast at full tempo, but it's also nice at a slower tempo. For this riff you don't have to play the first beat. So I'll start with the first three notes, 3, 4, 1. Then you have to play the 4th and 6th fret, which have the same rhythm as the first two notes. And then you have to play the 8th fret 2 times. Up to this point, 3, 4, 1. Then you have to play the same rhythm as you've played by the 4th and 6th fret. So, then you play the 9th fret 2 times. And now you've played the rhythmic motif twice, and the third time is exactly the same, followed by the 6th fret. From the start, and 1. And. And. And now we're going to play this riff on a slower tempo. In my opinion, a great song from a great album. Alive from the album T.N.T. It's easier to play this song on an electric guitar, or at least a guitar with a cutaway. This riff starts with an open A string. Then you have to play the A string again, followed by the 12th fret. Again. From the 12th fret you make a pull off to the open A string. It sounds like this. Up to this point. Again. And after you make a slide from the 12th to the 14th fret. Up to this point. Again and. Again and. You don't have to pick the string again after the pull off, and you don't have to pick it again after the slide. And after the slide you have to play the 12th fret again. So. Again. And then you have to play the open string again. Up to this point. Then you have to play the first part of the first bar again. And after the slide you have to play the open A string. Then you play the 14th fret. And you slide it to the 15th fret. And then you play the 14th fret again, which you slide to the 12th fret. So 14 to 15 and 14 to 12. So, again, the whole bar. Again. Then you'll start at the first bar again, so it sounds like this from the start. You have to repeat those 2 bars 2 times and then you have to play the 8th fret. With the 3rd fret right after it. Now we're going to practice the whole riff at a slower tempo. Let me know if you've learned something from this video and stay tuned by subscribing on my channel or follow me on Instagram.